45 dumbest things people did after winning the lottery. We like to believe money solves problems. It pays the bills, quiets the panic, upgrades the mattress and the mood. But lottery money isn't money. It's an amplifier. It magnifies whatever you already were. Impulsive, generous, paranoid, invincible. Until the volume breaks the speakers. This file is not about finance. It's about human nature given a jetpack and told to have fun. Here's the pattern you're about to watch on loop. First, a miracle. Ticket, numbers, camera flash. A foam check large enough to shade a village. Second, the triumphant promise. I'll be smart with it. Third, the plot. Friends appear, strangers multiply. A cousin pitches a nightclub. A branded t-shirt arrives that says #blessed. Fourth, the cliff. Lawyers, addicts, scammers. Hobbies that should never have a budget. Fifth, the landing. Rarely soft. Across 45 cases, you'll meet the winners who bought tigers before they bought accountants, who invested in miracles with worse odds than the lottery itself, who tried to insure their luck against gravity. Some gave it away to everyone but themselves. Others hoarded it like oxygen and still couldn't breathe. A few did everything right. Then the internet happened. So if you came for a manual on wealth, you're in the wrong aisle. Consider this a cautionary atlas. A guided tour through the dumbest detours taken immediately after hitting the only green light that matters. Keep your hands inside the vehicle. We're entering a neighborhood where the lawns are manicured, the pools are heated, and the smoke is coming from the trash can full of receipts. What happens right after "I'll be smart with it"? 1. He bought a luxury car before claiming the prize, reasoning he could float it for a week. The lender asked for proof of income. He showed the news article. The dealership took photos. The internet took sides. He returned the car, now pre-owned by Destiny, and learned that banks don't accept foreshadowing as collateral. 2. She announced her jackpot on Facebook with a selfie and the caption, "Ask me anything." People did, mostly for money. By noon, strangers knew her town, workplace, dog's name, and mother's porch. By night, she knew the price of privacy. Non-refundable. 3. He tried to hide the win from his spouse and opened a secret account called New Life Fund. The bank mailed a welcome packet to the house. The marriage counselor called it a communication issue. The divorce attorney called it a billable hour. 4. A winner celebrated with a backyard fireworks show. Illegal, spectacular, televised. The sheriff recognized his new haircut from the press conference. The citation cost less than the finale and more than his dignity. He pleaded guilty to inflamed optimism. And 5. She tipped a waiter with a brand new ATV because cash felt impersonal. The restaurant filmed the handoff. Corporate called legal. The parking lot called a tow truck. The waiter asked if he could trade it for rent. She learned gifts require recipients, not headlines. 6. He tried to collect anonymously by wearing a cartoon mascot suit to the press event. It was funny until the state required a signature, and the oversized paw couldn't hold a pen. He unmasked to applause, then to process servers. Mascots can't be sued. People can. 7. They bought a mansion with 12 bathrooms and no furniture. Tours felt awkward. Guests wandered like archaeologists through echoing tile, discovering yet another sink. On the 4th day, they realized they'd upgraded their square footage, but not their lives. An air mattress does not become a bed because the room is expensive. 8. He hired his childhood friend as director of vibes, with a 6-figure salary and 0 duties. HR, which was also his cousin, wrote the job description. Keep it chill. It stayed chill until taxes introduced heat. The friend resigned with a thank you card and a non-compete he didn't understand. 9. A winner launched a family investment fund and bought everyone matching jackets. The only asset the fund acquired was a jet ski, singular. Meetings devolved into arguments about who was CFO of Saturdays. When the ski sank, the fund did too. The jackets survived as heirlooms of hubris. 10. She brought the ticket to a payday loan office for instant liquidity. They photocopied it, the clerk quit, and a lawyer appeared like a stage magician. The state paid her eventually. The loan company never stopped calling. She learned there's a difference between being rich and being rushed. Wealth management, but make it stupid. 11. He bought a minor league baseball team just to play shortstop. The real shortstop quit, the fans didn't, and neither did the expenses. After losing every game, he folded the team and declared himself undefeated in spirit. The IRS disagreed. 12. A man celebrated his win by burying half his cash in his backyard. For safety. 6 months later, construction workers paved his street. Somewhere under the new sidewalk lies the most secure savings account in the world. No pine, just regret. 13. She invested in pet psychics because her dog guided her lottery numbers. The psychic confirmed the dog wanted premium steak and a vacation. When questioned, the dog confirmed nothing. The business closed, but the steak budget stayed spiritual. 14. He ordered a custom swimming pool shaped like his initials. The contractor misread the blueprint. The pool spelled something obscene from above. Helicopter footage from local news spelled bankruptcy. 15. A couple built a dream home modeled after their favorite movie castle. It included towers, moats, and a dragon fountain that constantly leaked. Repair costs rivaled their mortgage. When they finally sold, the listing said, "Historic-looking fortress, structurally exhausted." She bought a billboard in her hometown reading, "You were wrong about me." It worked until the city charged for permit violations. The billboard was removed, but the quote stayed, etched into every conversation at her next reunion. A man tipped his barber with lottery scratch-offs. One of them won big. The barber retired. The man called it betrayal. Economists called it redistribution. A winner purchased a fleet of luxury cars, but didn't have a garage. He parked them on a neighbor's lawn, citing overflow. The neighbor cited trespassing law. By week's end, the cars were towed, and his reputation followed. She started her own charity with one goal: help people like me. She defined people like me as her cousins. The tax audit defined it differently. The charity closed after a single fundraiser, held in her backyard, fully catered, entirely deductible. 20. A man decided to go off the grid after winning, withdrawing everything in cash. He stored it in a rented storage unit, forgot to pay rent, and the unit went to public auction. The new owner became the next accidental millionaire. The universe enjoys sequels, when fortune forgets the fine print. 20 stories in, the pattern is obvious. People don't lose money, they duel it. armed only with optimism and receipts. Winning isn't the end of struggle. It's just the start of a higher stakes stupidity. Every jackpot births a second lottery, whether you can outsmart yourself. The universe has no shortage of lessons. It just charges premium tuition. When luck becomes a curse. 21. He won $10 million and moved to a gated mansion. Within a year, he installed a second gate to keep out his extended family. They still got in, disguised as contractors. By the time he realized, so had the invoices. 22. A couple won big and decided to invest in love. They threw a lavish wedding for themselves, though they'd been married 12 years. Guests enjoyed champagne fountains. The couple enjoyed 3 lawsuits afterward: venue damage, unpaid vendors, and public indecency on the dance floor. 23. She opened a restaurant called Destiny's Diner. Her slogan, "Where dreams come true." Within 6 months, the dream was bankruptcy, and the slogan aged into irony. Customers left reviews like, "Good food, tragic business model." 24. A man funded his own movie, a sci-fi epic starring himself as galactic hero. Critics described it as financial suicide on camera. His acting debut became his exit from solvency. The title aged perfectly: The Collapse of Space and Budget. 25. He gifted everyone in his neighborhood flat-screen TVs to spread happiness. Someone sold theirs online, and the rest followed. By Christmas, the TVs returned to the same store, marked refurbished generosity. 26. A woman threw a party where the dress code was, "Wear money." One guest pinned bills to clothing. One friend wore a dress made entirely of cash. The air conditioning malfunctioned. By the end of the night, the fashion had literally blown away. 27. He hired a personal entourage of 6 energy consultants who followed him everywhere, holding crystals and whispering affirmations. His accountant called them expenses. The IRS called them unbelievable. Both were correct. 28. A young winner bought a private island, forgetting that islands have no grocery stores. Shipping food by boat cost more than his mortgage. After 6 months, he sold the island to someone who could afford sandwiches. 29. A retiree purchased a luxury watch collection for $1.2 million, then realized he couldn't tell time without glasses. When his grandson offered to sell one online, he listed them all by accident. The bids closed while Grandpa napped. 30. She invested in a spiritual retreat center built around a tree that granted wishes. The land was later found to be municipal property. The city's next newsletter cheerfully announced, "New picnic area, previously a cult." When the money starts spending you. By the third act, the pattern reverses. The winners stop using money. The money starts using them. Luck was supposed to buy freedom. It bought gravity instead. They thought they'd escaped their old lives. They simply upgraded the consequences. The lottery isn't a prize. It's a stress test disguised as confetti. And in most cases, the confetti wins. The riches strike back. He won millions and decided to test loyalty. He mailed fake eviction notices to friends, planning a big reveal. They didn't find it funny, and neither did his lawyer when he faced harassment claims. The surprise party became a deposition. A woman built a mansion shaped like a dollar sign. Satellite images made it a local landmark. Thieves called it a map. They stole everything but the design flaw. It flooded every time it rained. She ended up living in the S-33. He bought a gold-plated toilet because kings should sit on treasure. 6 months later, it cracked under its own weight. Repairmen took selfies. Tabloids took headlines. He returned to porcelain humility. 34. A newly rich gamer tipped streamers $10,000 a night to make friends. Platforms banned him for suspected fraud. He begged to be reinstated, then remembered he could just buy another account. Friendship remained unavailable for purchase. 35. A couple spent half their fortune suing the lottery commission for taxing happiness. They lost, appealed, and lost again. Their lawyer bought a yacht named Happiness. 36. A man funded a political campaign for himself. His slogan, "If I can win the lottery, I can win this." He couldn't. The votes cost more than the tickets ever did. 37. She froze all her cash in decorative ice blocks for a party centerpiece called Frozen Assets. Guests drank cocktails chilled by $100 bills. The melted aftermath clogged her sink and her conscience. 38. A winner bought hundreds of snakes for luck. Animal control disagreed. He was fined for illegal possession and noise complaints. Luck shed its skin. He kept the fines. 39. He purchased a minor planet name from an online space registry and announced ownership of Wealth One. The certificate was printed on glossy paper and universally meaningless. Still, his family framed it. Denial does come with free shipping. 40. A retired nurse gave away all her winnings to online orphans. They were bots. The only real orphan left was her bank account. She now volunteers teaching fraud awareness. A postscript the universe wrote for irony. 41. A man threw a reverse robbery party, inviting strangers to take whatever they wanted from his house as a social experiment. They did. He called it proof of concept. The insurance company called it intentional loss. 42. Two friends shared a ticket and swore they'd split evenly. When one vanished with the winnings, the other found him on a Caribbean beach named after his ex. Their reunion ended in headlines and handcuffs. Justice was the only thing evenly divided. 43. She turned her home into a museum of luck, charging $5 entry to view the winning ticket. After vandals stole the ticket, the museum closed. The irony remained free of charge. 44. He tattooed the winning numbers on his forehead to stay grounded. The ink artist refused payment, calling it karmic art. Years later, when he went broke, people still recognized him, just not for the right reasons. 45. A man buried gold bars in his garden to escape inflation. He forgot the spots, then moved houses. The new owners found them years later and became millionaires. When asked if he regretted it, he said, "No, I was due for some humility." The lottery always collects. 45 jackpots later, the outcome is clear. The lottery never makes winners. It simply auditions future headlines. Money doesn't change people. It just removes the limits on what they were already capable of doing badly. For every yacht, there's a police report. For every mansion, a moral foreclosure. The odds of winning are 1 in millions. The odds of surviving it with dignity, roughly the same. So next time you whisper, "If I win, I'll be smart," remember this file. 45 cautionary tales that prove the smartest move might be not buying the ticket at all. The Absurdist Files, Signature Close. This has been the Absurdist Files, File 003. 45 dumbest things people did after winning the lottery. A cinematic record of how logic collapses faster than bank balances. Because luck isn't a gift, it's a test, and humanity keeps failing with flying colors.